Okay. Kindly mute yourself.
Malima.
Okay. We were seeing about the corporate accounting. Kindly mute yourself, my dear net aspirants. Okay. We'll start. Okay. Okay. Next is environmental accounting. Environmental accounting, it's the first implied in Norway in 1970s. It has been implied, and in India, this concept is limited with certain industries only, such as cement, power, electrical, like that. So these are the subdivision under environmental accounting. So the as I said, it has been limited to certain industries, which is textiles, petroleum, like that. Okay. The subdivision under environmental accounting are: one is environmental management accounting, another one is financial accounting, another one is environmental national accounting. Okay. Environmental managerial accounting focus on the environmental cost information as well as the material and in every flow of the information. Next one is financial accounting. It has been reporting the environmental liability cost and other significant employment cost. And third one is environmental national accounting, which refers the focus on stocks of natural resources, environmental cost, and etc. It is the national level of accounting. Under this managerial accounting, there are three subdivisions, which is segment environmental accounting, ecologically balanced environmental accounting. Third one is corporate environmental accounting, which is as a corporate how much they are socially responsible towards the environment, towards the society. That will be accounted under corporate environmental accounting. Okay. We'll see the scope of environmental accounting. There are few list of scopes. Under this, from internal point of view, investments will be investments made by the business sector for minimization of the losses of environment, so that the business will be minimizing the losses. Secondly, from external point of view, all types of losses indirectly due to the business operations, maybe like which will includes degradation, destruction, like soil erosion, loss of biodiversity, air pollution, water pollution, voice, and problem of solid waste, coastal marine pollution. This will be taken care. Depletion is a one of non-renewable, which they have been talking about non-renewable natural resource depletion. And finally, deforestation and land uses. Let's come about auditing. We will be discussing the answers at the end of the session in today's class. A few questions I've taken up for you. Before auditing. Auditing is a thorough scrutinization of the books of accounts, and it ultimately aims to verify the financial position disclosed by the balance sheet P&L account of a company. Okay. In earlier, auditing is it's the meaning of auditing was different, but now it is a complete scrutinization of the business. And we'll see the objectives of auditing, there are two types of objectives. One is primarily objective, which means they will be concentrating on examining the system of internal check, examining the arithmetic accuracy of the books of accounts, verifying the posting, costing, and the balancing in the books of accounts, and verifying the authenticity and validity of the transaction. Next one is checking the proper distinction of capital, revenue nature of transaction. And next one is confirming the existence and the value of the assets and liability. Next one is verifying whether all the statutory requirements are fulfilled or not. Proving true or fairness of operating results presented by the income statements and the financial position presented by the balance sheet. So these are the primary objectives of the audit. Let's see the secondary objectives of the audit. Secondary objectives of the audit majorly focus on the detection and prevention of errors, which means they will be detecting the principal errors of principle, the basic policy, whether if they're having any errors. Next one is errors of omission, which means voluntarily if the employee is leaving something in the books of accounts, which is omission. And third one is if the error happened in omission. Third one is error of commission. For the purpose of commission purpose, the entries will be wrong. So finding that if there is any errors of commission. Fourth one is compensating error. For if they have done something wrong, so to compensate that loss or wrong, they have been entering some transaction in the books of account. So to finding out, to detecting out, and to prevent out, audit plays a vital role. Secondly, detecting and prevention of frauds. Fraud is different from errors. Errors is it's not voluntarily done, but fraud is they are voluntarily doing it. So that is the difference between errors and fraud. And detection and prevention of frauds will be three types. One is misappropriation of cash. So for the purpose of cash, they will be misappropriating cash from one transaction to another one. Secondly, misappropriation of goods. And third one is manipulation of the accounts or falsification of the accounts without any misappropriation. Without any misappropriation, they will be manipulating a duplicate account or a false account, like that. Thirdly, under or overvaluation of stock. If the stock value is 1 lakh, in the books of accounts they will be giving like 2 lakh, or showing it undervaluation is like 50 lakh for malpractice. Next one is other objectives under auditors: to provide information to income tax authority, to satisfy the provision of Company Act, to have more effective uh, control over the organization. So that is the major objectives of auditing. We'll see the merits of auditing. The major merits of auditing is to detect and prevent errors and fraud. So that is the major thing, as we said, as we saw in the earlier slide. So second one is through detecting and preventing errors and fraud means the auditor main duty to detect the errors and fraud. Preventing such errors and frauds are taking care to avoid such frauds. This event through all organizations do not have a completion to audit. So this will be in the books of accounts. And second one is it helps to maintain a proper account regularly. An auditor raises question in accounts are not mainly proper, so the audit gives a moral pressure on maintaining accounts regularly. So that will be the merit. And thirdly, audit helps to get compensation, which means if there is any losses in the property of business, insurance company providing compensation on the basis of auditing statement of valuation made by the auditor. So it helps to get them compensation in kinds of any uh, in terms of any insurance issues. Fourth one is it helps to obtain loans. Loans in sense specifically financial institution provides loan on the basis of audited statements. A business organization may obtain more loan consisting the audited statement on last 5 years, so that the organization can make a proposal towards loan based on auditing. Fourth one is facilitates the sale of business. If a company, if a businesses want to sold to a certain person, they will be asking list of documents, and auditing plays a vital role in that for a better beneficial selling value. Sixth one is helps in access tax, which is tax authority accesses ta- taxes on the basis of the profit calculation of the auditor. So based on the auditor's profit calculation, the tax will be calculated. In the same way, the sales tax authority calculates the sales tax. Similarly, the audited statement plays a vital role in tax authority. So, seventh one is audit facilitates to compare. Uh, an auditor instruct an accountant in same way, which will helps to compare the books of accounts of the current year with the accounting of the previous year. So it will be helping for the internal purpose of accounting also. So they will be comparing the internal audit records and the external auditing records, which is independent auditing records. And eighth one is it helps to adjust the accounts of deceased partner. The valuation of all the assets and liabilities of the business is made by the auditor while auditing of books of accounts. Such valuation helps to clear the amount of deceased partner. And next one is um, audit provides information about profit and loss. It is also present as a proof to the business. Any kind of documents, it is a authorized proof for the company. And next one is it provides the information about P&L account. P&L account, in a business wants to know whether the profit or loss of its business after a certain period of time. The owner of the business can get information about the P&L, profit and loss after auditing the books of accounts. And 11th one is it helps to prepare the future plan. It for forecasting about the future for the better adverse future. So auditing what means all the audited statement remains true and correct. Such true and correct accounts helps in preparing the future plan also. And finally, it helps to increase the goodwill of the company. Okay, next we'll see the independent financial audit. Independent financial audit is also known as external audit. It is an appraisal conducted by the third party with the aim of establishing assessing a company's account, business transaction and the financial records like that. So independent auditor is a statutory auditor who have been completed his chartered accountant thing and also known as these external auditors are not the internal employees of the company. They are accounting professional conducted by their services. And additionally, independent auditor, which means they are more independent towards their profession. They will not be controlled or influenced by the internal managements. They will be submitting the report at the end of after scrutinizing all the records. We will be seeing the differentiation between the internal audit and the external, which is independent audit of an organization. Based on this, okay, here I've given a comparison between this. The core objective of internal audit will be ensuring the organization complies with the policies and the procedures, and it also satisfies that the resources are utilized economically by the organization. 1 minute. Okay. Okay, independent audit means studies the actual operation of an internal control, whether the internal controls have been properly done, and to evaluate them and to decide about the future timing, extensions of the programs or processing plans. This is the external audit and independent audit. And next one is evaluation of internal control. Internal control, it is the study of the actual operation of the internal control and effective evaluation. The evaluation will be in the terms of internal control questionnaire, flow charts, etc. And in independent audit, it studies the actual operation of the internal control based on the nature, timing, extent, similarly sustainable progress of the company's plans. Third one is errors and fraud. The primary concern of the internal audit is prevention and detection of errors and fraud. And in external independent audit, the prevention and detection of errors and fraud is only on the secondary objective. And other one is scope of work and reporting. Here it is determined by the management of internal audit reports is presented to the management is no specific, they will be not sorry to the independent audits is prepared for the purpose of government thing, and it has to be submitted to the income tax authority. Report in external or sorry in internal audit, there won't be any particular format to prepare the report, but in external independent audit there is a specific format to publish the report. Time of audit in internal audit, there is a continuous and it carries throughout the year, but here in independent audit, after closing of account, preparation of financial statement, excuse me, the audit will be the audit will be accomplished. Okay. Next one is suggestions and recommendation. Excuse me. Suggestion and recommendation in an internal audit, it evaluates the efficiency of the operations, whether it has been properly made. So suggestions will be given to the internal auditors and recommendation to improve the efficiency of the functions of the. And here in independent audit, the statutory auditor is concerned only with the reliability of the financial records and financial statement, whether is it true and fair statement have been given for the auditing purpose. So that will be the recommendation and suggestion to be more clarity wise, more better, and trustworthy wise, fairly recording of transaction. Independence, here internal audit, the work is posed on the interest of the management. So based on the management, there will be influencing the internal audit. There is a chance of it. But in statutory audit, it is completely independent. Statutory auditor is the one who is external auditor who have been a chartered accountant. So he is completely independent. He won't be influenced by the internal management. He is liable to give away the report of the transaction of the organization done in the organization. Next one is vouching. Vouching is known as a evidence of a support for the support of transaction in the books, which is it may be in form of bill, receipts, requisition form, agreement, decisions, bank paying slips, etc. It is a examining documentary evidence. It is a vital evidence at the time of accuracy of entry in the books of account. It is called vouching. So in a simple term, the act of examining documentary evidence in order to ascertain the accuracy of entry in the books of accounts is called vouching. The examples of vouching will be like invoice, statement, receipts, correspondent minutes, articles, like that. And voucher, what is a voucher means? It is a documentary evidence to support the transaction in the books of accounts. Additionally, vouching may be like vouching is the act of testing the truth of the entries appearing in the primary books of accounts. It is an initial for auditing. What is an initial for auditing in sense? Vouching is the first thing, first initial document proof. What are the objectives of vouching? Okay, let's see the objectives of vouching. Why we are vouching? We are as an auditor. Why the auditor will be vouching means, as we see, to detect the errors and fraud, to know the truth of accounts, to find the unrecorded transactions, to know that the transaction are authorized, to know that only business transaction are recorded. So this is the thing. So which means by detecting and preventing the errors and frauds in the company, and whether the account has been true, fairly maintained, and to find if there is any unrecorded or illegal transaction made. And fourth one is does all the transaction entered by the company or business are authorized and true truth. And the fifth one is to know that only the business transaction are recorded, not personal transactions have been recorded for uh, misuse. Next one is verification and valuation of assets. Verification and valuation, there is a difference between both terms. The concept and the meaning of verification, which means it provides, verification means correctness. One of the main work of the auditor is to verify the assets and the liabilities. Verification is an act of ensuring the correctness of the value of assets, whether the whether the transactions of the liabilities and the assets are being correctly maintained, fairly maintained, and the title given for them is fair. So these things will be scrutinized by the auditor. When it has been satisfied by the auditor about the actual existence of the assets and liabilities appearing in the balance sheet, whether it's fair, it's correct. So um, scrutinization of the verification of all the assets and the liabilities of the business is called verification. And major why while verification of the assets, the auditor should consider the following points. First one is the auditor should ensure the existing of his asset, whether they have mentioned this particular assets in our company, but we have to go to the plant uh, and visually we have to address it. Second one is acquiring the assets of business. And acquiring the assets of business, if a company is acquiring one business, what are all documents they have given there, and whether the documents are truly maintained, is there any errors in it or frauds occurred in it, we have, as an auditor we have to check. Third one is ensuring the proper valuation of asset, what is the current realization value of the asset. And fourth one is ensuring that the assets are free from any charges. If there is any assets are free from any other charges like liability or credit pay in, we have as a business person, if a if a if a businessman have bought a plant on basis of credit, but it has been transacted at as it on his own money. So all these things has to be very much scrutinized by an auditor. Next one is concept and meaning of valuation. Valuation is, it is an act of determining the value of assets and critical examination of these value on the basis of normally accepted in the accounting standard. So based on the accounting standard, value of assets is to be made by the authorized officer, and the duty of the auditor is to see and check whether they have been given a proper value or not. So realization value, they as a company we will be having certain list of assets. So the value of assets, whether it's correct or wrong, and the liabilities, how much value we have to pay. So all things has to be properly mentioned by the authorized officer, and the auditor should check all these things. An auditor should consider the following points regards the assets while valuation of the assets while making valuation. Okay, first one is the original cost of the asset. What is the prime cost? Second one is expected working life. For how long the asset will be worth and it will be working. And third one is wear and tear. If we use this machine or plant, how long I can use this machine? After a certain point, what will be the depreciation money we have to pay? So what is the depreciation amount have been transacted in the account, like that. Fourth one is scrap value. If I'm going to resell the product as the manufacturing plant, so what will be the scrap value? Out of that, what will be the left out pieces value will be mentioned. What is the transacted of the scrap value? All these values has to be entered in a proper format, and true and fair value should be uh, mentioned in the company's records. So the auditor will be reviewing all these things. Okay, as of now, is it clear? 1 minute. What is your understanding about auditing as of now? What is your understanding about auditing? Can you please give your valuable review in chat box? Okay, that's nice. I got good answers from Elsa ma'am, Snega ma'am, Nanda sir, I guess. Who is this N? Can you please give your name? And Elsa ma'am again. Okay, that's all nice answer. Okay, we'll proceed with the class. Okay, next one is audit of financial statements and audit report. Okay. Okay. First of all, we have to check about as auditor financial statement. It means financial statement audit is the examination of an entity financial statements, the company's financial statement, and the accomplishing disclosures by the independent auditor. The result of this examination is reported by the auditor. At attesting at the fairness of the presentation to the financial statement and related disclosure, the auditor report must be accompanying the financial statement when they are issued to the intended recipient. So this is what happened. So financial report will be scrutinized by the auditor, and he will be publishing an audit report that will be called as auditor report, and that will be the proof. And next, the purpose of financial audit. What is the purpose means? Is to add credibility to the reported financial position and performance of the business. There is the Securities and Exchange Commission requires that all the entities that are publicly held must file annual report with its auditor. So as per Securities Exchange Commission, all the entities should report their auditor report annually. Okay, so that similarly, the lender typically requires an audit for a financial statement of any entity to which they have lent funds. And suppliers may also require auditor financial statement before they will be willing to extend a trade credit. Through usually only when the auditor of requested credit is sustainable. So financial statement not only is benefit to the company, also to the stakeholders of the company is benefited. As I said, like suppliers, lenders, trade creditors, etc. Next one is audit has become increasingly a common as the complexity of two primarily accounting frameworks, which is generally accepted accounting principle and international financial reporting standards, GAAP and IFRS. which has been increased, and because of this there have been an ongoing series of disclosures of faultness reported by the major companies. So these two primarily frameworks, which is GAP and IFRS, are focusing on this reduction of fraudness. Next one is audit report. Audit report is a statement that includes the financial statement, which will be a combination of all the verification of the assets and liabilities, and detection and prevention of errors and fraud, and the final review of the auditor. It contains the opinion of the auditor in the financial statement of the balance sheet of the company, and the auditor reports to the shareholders. It will be shared among the shareholders who have been appointed him, and he has to provide his opinion on the true and fairness, and he should be independent, and the auditor protest the interest of the shareholder through audit report. So he will be appointed by the shareholder of the company, and he will be giving his opinion about the company's growth and financial statement currently and in the future form. So it will be in the auditor report. Next one is form of audit report. What all form it has been. Okay. These are the forms of audit report. First one is title of the report. Here what will be there means the title of the report should be help the reader to identify the report. What kind of report it is. What is the content is, what is the content they are saying. By seeing the title itself, we have to, as a common public shareholder, has to understand the content in the report. So title is very much important here, and it should disclose the name of the client, and the title distinguish of the audit report from the other reports. So that is what the first form of audit report. Secondly, name of the address, which is the address normally refers to the person who appoint the auditor, and if the company appointed an auditor, the company's official address has to be mentioned. Next one is introductory paragraph. Introductory paragraph, the auditor's opinion on financial statement audited by him will be mentioned there, and the period covered for the financial statement should be stated within the exact details and date from when to when it has been audited, like that. Next one is scope. Scope is, this part should include in the matter of fact, what kind of fact relating to the manner in which auditor examination was made. The auditor examination should cover company's account as well as the profit and loss account, balance sheet, cash flow statement. The examination should be per the relevant laws. The auditor should not limit any examination task. He is not advised to limit himself to ask question or any give feedbacks or opinion towards the organization. And the next one is, that is opinion. The opinion point is, the auditor opinion is playing a vital role for the growth of an organization. He will be giving his opinion on the books of account of the financial statement examined based on the information given by them, and it is free from basis. An auditor has to give his opinion on the basis of followers. There are three cases involved in auditor opinion. First one is whether the financial statement are arithmetically correct and correspondent to the figure recorded in the books of account. So numerically, arithmetically, whether it's correct, you have to give. Secondly, in case of unqualified opinion, whether the financial statement represent a true and a fair view of a statement of affairs, and the results are operational based on the true and worthiness of the statement. Third one is, in case of unqualified opinion, if the balance sheet and the P&L account do not represent the true and fair value, the reason for what and where went wrong. So for we as an auditor, as to give them what was the problem in representing the unfair balance sheet and P&L account. So for by this, what will be the effect in the future? So for correcting purpose, he will be giving his opinion. Sixth one, he will be giving his authorized manual signature of the auditor in the report. And finally, uh, place of signature, this should be included in the location of the auditor or as auditor company, like that. And eventually the date of report when it has been published. So for a period of 1 year or period of 6 months, I have been scrutinized all this verification done. So this is the eventual date I'm publishing the report. So that will be the date of report. These are the forms of audit report. Okay, let's see the types of audit report now. Okay, there are four major types of audit report. One is clean or unequal report, which is the report will be given by the auditor. If the auditor is satisfied that the accounts, balance sheet, P&L account, cash flow statement do represent true or fair view, and they prepared is conformly with the accounting principles and the statutory requirement. It is very clear as per the policies of GAAP and IFRS. It is 100% clear. So that is a clean or unqualified report. 100% it's okay, means that is it will come under this category. Second one is qualified report. Qualified report means the auditor believes that the overall financial statement are not fairly stated. The reason for giving qualified report on the basis. So he will be believing that overall financial statement is correct, but 100% it's not correct. So now I am going to tell what is the reason for it. There are five major reasons for that. One is books of accounts, P&L account, balance sheet do not represent true or fair value. Second one is the auditor is not able to verify the value and the existence of the certain assets. Third one is the information requested by the auditor is not furnished. So if the we as auditor, if we ask uh, information, it has not been published to them. It has not been furnished to them. Third one is that, and the fourth one is proper books of accounts are not maintained as required by law. So as per the law, they have to maintain a proper record of books if it is not there. Fourth one is part of audit examination done by other auditor. If he is not completely doing it, partially done by one auditor and he is doing other part of auditing, it will be coming under qualified report. So if it is coming under these cases, it will be called as qualified report. Another one is advice or negative report. Advice or negative report means when there is a sufficient basis for the auditor to form an opinion that the overall account and a financial statement do not represent a true or fair value of the financial condition and results to the operation. He will be giving his negative opinion on the financial statement, and he will be advising to for the betterment. Okay. In what and all cases it will come means there are four cases when when the auditor is not satisfied with the truth and fairness of the financial statement. If he is not okay, he is completely is not okay with the truthness of the financial statement, he will be giving a negative report. And secondly, conformity with the gap. So according to the policies, generally accepted accounting principles, they should follow certain policy if it is not coming. Thirdly, mistakes and discrepancies and material misstatements in the financial statement. So voluntarily doing any mistakes, discrepancies like that. Fourth one is omission of material disclosure. Voluntarily, if the company is omitting certain material disclosures, it will be affecting the report and it will be published as a At the end of the thing, the auditor will give his opinion as negative report or adverse report. Okay. Finally, um, disclaimer report. Disclaimer report means it is the most worst case or more than negative report. The auditor may disclaim or refuse opinion on the account, like P&L account, as I said, balance sheet, when he does not have sufficient information on the basis of opinion. If he is not able to see sufficient information or documents, if he is asking, if the company is not able to give them, so he is not able to audit the firm. So in this case, in the scope and the opinion paragraph, the auditor should be given disclaimer information. It will be under three categories. One is the auditor has not able to obtain sufficient information to the form of his opinion. Second one is the auditor examination is not adequate in form of opinion. Third one is there are some material undetermined item in audit examination. So these are the four types of audit report. Okay. Before this audit report, I want to tell something more in this about the content of audit report. What and all content will be. This is form, and I'm going to tell you about the content. As per section 143, okay, Companies Act. Kindly listen to it first. Okay. Audit report will be containing whether he has sought and obtained information evaluation. 1 minute. Okay, this is what the content. The title of the report, name of the address, introductory paragraph, scope, the opinion. As I said, there are a lot of varieties of opinion by the auditor, signature, place of signature, date of report, and these are the form, and these are the types of report. Okay, I want to ask you one thing about what is the difference between clean report and disclaimer report? What is the difference between clean report and disclaimer report? Kindly share your valuable understanding in chat box. Clean report and disclaimer report. Okay, Sneha ma'am have given their opinion. Yes, it's a complete contrast report. Very good. As Sneha ma'am said, it in clean report, the auditor report will be clear without any mistakes. Yes, it's 100% it's clear without any mistakes and error. But in disclaimer, there will be errors and it will be insufficient data provided by the organization. So the auditor won't able to give his opinion in a complete view. Elsa ma'am is typing. That's nice to see understanding about. Yes, yes, 100% correct, Elsa ma'am. You're also right. It's about a clear report, it's an accurate report, and disclaimer report is unable to complete is accurate report. Very good. Snega ma'am and Elsa ma'am is very much clear. That's nice to see. And what about others? You can also give your opinion about, can you please differentiate clear audit and disclaimer audit? Clean audit and disclaimer audit. We have a lot more to see. Just for an understanding, I'm asking you a few questions in between the thing. Yes, you're right, ma'am. In disclaimer audit, we find errors like distancing them from providing complete. Okay, I'll ask one more question. In what is a four feature of SHAS? What is your understanding about four feature of SHAS? In simple term, you can tell me. Kindly share your opinion about four feature SHAS and reissue of no. Second question will be pro rata allotment. First question is four feature of SHAS. What do you mean by four feature of SHAS? Second question will be what is your understanding about pro rata allotment? Kindly give your opinion in the chat box. Okay, that's nice. Thanks for your opinion, Ilsa ma'am and Snega ma'am. Okay, that's nice. Okay, you're almost there. Okay, we'll have a short break. We'll meet up after 7 to 10 minutes. It's been a continuous talk. We'll have a small commercial break after 7 to 10 minutes. We'll come back and in around 4 5 we'll come back and we'll continue the class. Thanks for your cooperation.